Okay, 6.2, solving and graphing with multiply and divide, one-steps. How do we solve and graph one-step equations and inequalities? That's our essential question. We're going to jump right in with a few examples. The dividing and multiplying is really simple until you get to the inequality part. That's the part where I said there's like a monkey wrench thrown in there and you have to remember. So let's just try the basic problems. Example 1. Jump right in. So let's say you have 20 equals 4x. Now when we were adding and subtracting, we did the opposite operation to solve. So if it was something like plus, then we had to subtract on both sides. If it was minus, we had to add on both sides. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So 4 is multiplying x, and we want to solve for x. So to get rid of the 4, we have to divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, so now this is x equals 5. Good. Because 4 divided by 4 becomes a 1, right? So in a sense, that gets rid of the 4's. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay? Real basic problem. Now, could you plug it back in to check? Yes. You bet. So let's plug it in. So we have 20 equals 4, and I'll put in parentheses, times 5. Does 20 equal 20? Yeah. So again, you can check all of these to make sure that you're getting them right. All right, example 2. Let's do one with the negative. Negative 8y equals 24. So we want to isolate the variable. We have to divide out the negative 8. So divide by negative 8, divide by negative 8. These negative 8's cancel out or simplify to 1, right? So you cross those off. What's 24 divided by negative 8?
Negative 3.
Good. Negative 3. Now, a lot of people do these too fast and they forget to put the negative, but if you plug it back in, you can always check. So let's plug it in. Negative 8 times negative 3, and that should equal positive 24. Does it work? Yep. Question? Okay, example 3. Actually, let's do a you try, because I think you guys got this. So you try. Number 1. 30 equals 6x. Really simple, just to make sure you guys have it. Just raise your hand when you think you know. Okay, what is it? 5. Good. So we divide by 6. These go away. This becomes 5. X equals 5. And then 6 times 5 is 30. So you can check. All right, try another one. Let's do negative 6a equals 36. Negative 6a equals 36. Raise your hand when you think you know. Okay, what is it? Negative 6. Good. So we divide by negative 6 to get rid of this. Divide this by negative 6. A positive divided by a negative, you guys know, is a negative. And you can double check. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. All right, let's do one more. You try. Number 3. Negative 9x equals negative 72. All right, what does x equal? 8. Make sure you say positive there because now we're dividing by a negative and we have a negative. So this becomes a positive 8. Any questions on those 3? Easy, right? Okay, I'm going to give you one. These were all multiply, so we had to solve by dividing. I'm going to give you one that's divide, so you're going to have to solve by multiplying. The opposite thing. Okay, so example 3. This might throw you guys off a little bit. We'll see if you're on your A game here. Let's say we have x over negative 4. So that means x is being divided by negative 4. And that's equal to negative 9. Any ideas what you would do there? Better?
9 times negative 4.
Good. So we want to get rid of the negative 4. So do you remember that thing about multiplying by the reciprocal? Yeah. So in order to make this negative 4 go away, we have to multiply it by the reciprocal, which is negative 4 over 1. Right? And now I can cross cancel those. Do you remember this? So whatever I did here, I have to do over here. So multiply this by negative 4. You don't really have to put the over 1, but if it helps you, you can do it. So what's negative 9 times negative 4?
36.
Good. So x equals 36. Now, it's really important on these ones, you plug it back in and check. So let's do 36 over negative 4, and that should equal negative 9, right? Does it work? Yep. Okay, so whenever you have a number on the bottom, in a sense what you're doing is you're just cross multiplying. It's like diagonally, right? Cross multiplying. Alright, so on the left hand side in this, let's do a little star. And let's put cross multiply or multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so that one goes with example 3. I'm going to give you a U try on this one now. So this is U try number 4. Let's do y over negative 3 equals negative 12. Y over negative 3 equals negative 12. Raise your hand when you think you have it. Yeah, I'll give you a little bit more time. Anyone think they know yet? Oh, a lot of you. All right, what do you guys think y equals?
4. 36.
Good. So I actually heard 4 different answers, so I'm going to repeat what I heard. Some people said negative 4. Some people said positive 4. Some people said negative 36. And some people said positive 36. And the answer is?
Positive 36. Yes, let's go.
Okay. So it's 36. So what happened here, guys? We cross multiplied, right? You remember this like 2 minutes ago? We did negative 4 times negative 9 and got 36. We did negative 3 times negative 12, and that's a positive 36. What happens is when you guys see numbers like this, your brain wants to divide them, doesn't it? Those of you who automatically went to like 4 as your answer. So remember, we are trying to eliminate this by multiplying by the reciprocal, which means we have to multiply over here as well, not divide. I'll continue to give you guys those in like warm-ups until you are more comfortable with them, but that's pretty much how those ones work. We're going to flip over the page and we're going to do the ones with graphing now. So the inequalities. Let's see. Alright. So this is example 3. We're going to go right to example 4 on the back. So at the top, you can put inequalities again. And example 4. So we did one, I think we just did a negative one on the board earlier, so let's do a positive one now. We'll do 2x is less than 10. So just like an equation, we use the same steps with dividing, right? Are there any negatives here?
No.
So do we have to worry about flipping it? No. So we just divide by 2 on both sides. These 2's are gone.
Why do we have to divide them?
Because we want to get x all by itself. So if you divide it, now it's just 1x, which is basically an x. So now we have 10 over 2, which is 5. And then you can plug it back in and check. 2 times 5, right? Now remember, when it's like an inequality, that means x is anything less than 5. It's pointing to the x, which means it's smaller. So when you graph it, you have to graph it anything less than 5. So do a 0, do a 5. Is this an open or closed circle? Open circle. And anything less than 5 goes what direction? Left or right? Left. Anything less than 5 is over here. You can plug in 0. Is 0 less than 5? Yeah. See, it's going towards a 0. Alright, example 5. Let's do one where you have to cross multiply. So x over 3 is less than or equal to 4. So when you cross multiply, x is less than or equal to what? 12. Good. X is less than or equal to 12. We just cross multiplied. Now we're going to graph it. We have a 0 and a 12. Open or closed circle? Closed, because it says or equal to here. Closed circle. X is less than that. So what direction? Left or right?
Left.
Left. So any number less than 12, also including 12, that's why it's bubbled in, works.
I'm really getting the hang of this. This is easier.
I bet you are. Okay, let's go to the negative thing, right? The monkey wrench. So let's write on the left-hand side here, negative rule. That's what we'll call it. Okay? And this states when you multiply or divide by a negative, you must change the direction of the arrow. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you must change the direction of the arrow. We'll do a couple examples here. Example 6. Negative 3x is less than 9. What do we divide by?
3.
Negative 3. Now the negative 3's are gone because they become 1. X, what do we have to do to the arrow? We have to change the direction because we divided by a negative, so this becomes a negative 3. We're going to graph it. We have a negative 3. Open or closed circle?
Open.
Left or right?
Left. Right. Left.
Raise your hand for left. Raise your hand for right. Yeah, we're about half and half. See this? This is the alligator mouth, right?
Right.
It always opens up to the bigger thing. So that means X is bigger. So anything to the right is bigger. The alligator mouth, right? Or the Pac-Man or whatever you guys learn. It always opens up to the bigger.
Eating X, it's right.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
I have a question. How'd you get that turned? Alligator mouth. How'd you get that?
Oh, when kids were in elementary school, a lot of teachers had up on their wall a poster with the inequalities and it had an alligator.
Yeah, I know that. But like, it was facing the 9, but now it's facing the x.
Right, because we divided by the negative. To make the inequality true, we have to flip it. Let's do another one.
Yes, please.
Let's do this one. X over negative 2 is less than or equal to 4. What do we do with the negative 2?
You divide.
We divide?
Oh, no, multiply.
Yeah, because look, up here we multiplied, right? So X, and then what do I have to do with my arrows? Change the direction because I'm multiplying by a negative number, right? So now I have negative 8. Let's graph it. With a 0 and a negative 8. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. You can check. Look, you can put it back over here. You should get positive 4.
Negative 8 though. I got a negative 2.
Because you're not multiplying.
Negative 4.
Oh, it's multiplying.
All right. Open or close circle? Open or close, you guys? Close. X is greater than or equal to, so right or left? Right. X is bigger, so anything to the right.
Yeah, at least I got that part right.
Good. Now, the cool thing about this is you can check, right? So we know it's going past 0. We know it's going to go past 2. It's going to go past 10. It's going to go to 100, right? So plug in 100 right here. What's 100 divided by negative 2? Negative 50, right? Is negative 50 less than 4? Yeah, negative 50 is less than 4, so you know you graphed it right. So you can pick any number over here to check. And then just plug it in for X, and if it works out, then yes, you graphed it correctly. Okay? Alright, we need to do one where, well, this is the kind of problem that pretty much destroys you on a test or quiz. So here it is. You ready? We'll call it the destroyer. Example 8. This is the last example. Alright, we're going to do 2x is less than negative 4. 2x is less than negative 4. This is the destroyer.
This is?
Yeah.
You divide.
I promise. So you divide, right? You know to divide. So everybody's dividing by 2.
How would we know to divide?
You do the opposite. So since it's multiplying, you do the opposite operation. Okay? So the 2's are gone here. What happens on the right-hand side? What is negative 4 divided by 2? It's negative 2. And then what do I do with the arrow?
You change it.
Why do I change it? Did I multiply or divide by a negative? No, I divided by a positive, didn't I?
Oh, so you don't have to reverse.
So you don't change it. This is why it's called the destroyer, right?
Oh, that's all.
All right.
It's basically when you don't cross multiple.
So put a couple stars here and say, don't change the arrow. Because, BC, you divide or divided by a positive. So it throws people off because you have a negative on one side. But that negative has nothing to do with this variable, right? It's not connected to that variable. So don't change the arrow because you divided by a positive. Only if you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative. So let's graph this one too. We have a 0 and a negative 2.
So if we don't cross multiply, we don't change the alligator sign.
If you don't multiply or divide by a negative, you don't change it.
To the left, right?
Okay? So we do open circle, and yes, x is less than, so we go to the left. And you can check. So what's a number less than negative 2?
Negative 3.
Negative 3, good. So if we do 2 times negative 3, we get negative 6. Right? Is that less than negative 4? Yeah, because remember when you're dealing with negatives, it's like the opposite, right?
Negative 6.
Okay? Alright, so I'm going to give you a couple you tries, and then we're done. You try number 1. Let's do, and I want you guys to try to graph it too, okay? So I'm going to do x over negative 2 is less than 10. So after you solve it, draw yourself a little graph on the right hand side. And one person has it so far. 2, 3, 4. Oh, and hands are flying up. All right, what do you guys think it is?
Negative 20.
Okay, I heard some 5s and negative 5s, but remember we're cross multiplying here. So it's negative 20, but what do we have to do to the arrow?
Turn it.
Yeah, because we're multiplying by negative.
Oh, so that's
Okay, so put, just one sec, put your negative 20, it's an open circle again, right? And now if x is greater,
put negative 12.
oh, thank you. If x is greater than that, what direction does our arrow go?
Right.
Right, perfect. Now, let's check, okay? Let's see if we did it right. Plug in 0 because we know it's going past 0. 0 divided by negative 2 is 0, right?
Yeah.
So is 0 less than 10? Is 0 less than 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did it right. Okay, we're going to do one more. Squeeze it in here. That one was a multiply, so I'll give you guys one with a divide, all right? So we're going to do negative 3x is less than or equal to negative 18. Negative 3x is less than or equal to negative 18. Anyone have it yet? Once you have it, make sure you draw yourself a little graph and graph it. Alright, what do you guys think it is?
Negative 6.
Negative
6.
No, it's a positive 6.
Positive. Good.
Go.
So we have a positive 6. Do we have to do anything with the arrows?
No, because it's divided.
Do we have to change the arrows here?
No.
Are you dividing by a negative?
Yeah.
Then you have to change the arrows.
Oh, so if you're dividing or multiplying by a negative, you change the arrow?
That's what we have up here in our rule.
Positive 6.
Okay, so positive 6, and it's a closed, and then check this out. X is now bigger, so it's going to the right. Okay, hold on. Now, check your work. Plug in any number bigger than 6. What's a number bigger than 6?
7.
7. Go back to the original. Is negative 3 times 7 less than negative 18? Yes, because that would be negative 21, which is less than negative 18. So that's how you know if you did this right. If you change the arrow and graphed right. You pick a number over here and plug it back in. Okay, so we're going to do some practice problems in the book. And there's not a lot of them I'm going to have you do, but I'm going to write them here under the summary for you guys. So page 451, numbers 2, 4, 6, 8. On 452, you'll do number 16. And then on page 509, we're going to do 1 through 13 all.
All?
Oh, yes, all. All.
I honestly thought I wasn't good at that.